Hello, welcome back to F1 Manager 24 and Creator Team Mode. It's race 9, one of my favourites, Canada. Often throws up a bit of a race, historically, in F1 Managers, and in real life. In regards to the car and the team, not a huge amount to talk about. The factory is now upgraded, so we can now generate 3 different car parts at any given time, which we are doing, because front wing version 3 literally came in during that time as well, so I've got enough version 2s to hopefully see me through the weekend, and we're starting to build version 3s, and the chassis version 2 is now being manufactured, as well as the underfloor version 2. So we should finally have our Spec 2 car and partially Spec 3 car available for Spain, apart from maybe the chassis. Might still need to have to wait. I snuck in a bit of chassis research as well before the next ATR period. But we might be able to just sneak in our chassis on one car at least for Spain. The underfloor will be on both for Spain, and the front wing will be on both for Spain as well. Might have to wait, just because that is the last of the chassis. Might have to wait till Austria to get the underfloor on both cars. Sorry, the chassis on both cars. We might have to wait till Austria to get the chassis on both cars though, just because that is finishing that up mid race weekend there. Spain, maybe a bit pain for Zane. But that's that. Money's tight. Interesting. The target thresholds have changed. Not a track our car apparently likes, so Zane's high risk one is still 18th. We'll go for it. Canada can be a bit chaos. There can be retirement, so we might be able to get it just by default.
Formula One has arrived here in Quebec, and we're excited to get underway. Let's hope it's not going to be Groundhog Day. The local rodents have disrupted more than one race day here in the past. The Canadian Grand Prix is ready to kick off, and the only drama on the tracks we want to see is the best drivers in the world battling it out for a place on that podium. In the last round, Max Verstappen flew to victory, the Dutchman proving that he can be absolutely unstoppable when he's in such fine form. Let's see what the weekend has in store.
As always, I will see you for qualifying, which has rain. So, qualifying 1, predicted weather, light rain, track water already nearly intermediate. I can see an intermediate actually on the vehicle already in the background there. So, it's telling us to put an intermediate on. I need to put on decent car parts again. Alright, so there we go. Don't know if I mentioned, by the way, I think I may have said it already, but Zane does have the front ring again for this one. And thankfully, he didn't break it in practice this time. Alright, so we'll give that a pause and check the... We need to go immediately. Apparently it's getting drier. Anything above about 0.75 is still good for an intermediate. Everyone else has gone on intermediate, so I'm not being mugged off there. Literally everyone is on track. Could be traffic issues, actually thinking about it, but in fact there will definitely be traffic issues. We're going to get absolutely mugged off here. We'll follow Mick round though, because it's going to be better now than it will be later. Actually, I don't think it'll be as problematic as I thought it was going to be. It looked like we're going to get easily caught up to the end of that train. But pretty much every car is going to be on the straight, and that's when I think they start getting going anyway, on a lap here in Canada. There is a yellow flag somewhere, irrelevant to us unless they've done it at the hairpin. Actually, it might have been at the hairpin. I think it was the Haas, but should be fine by the time we get there. It was. We might have to pass someone, but as I say, I'm pretty certain Leclerc's the last person to not be triggered on outlap. That's when they get going, so we're all good. We've actually done an absolute blinder there, and of course this will be 2 laps without a cooldown in between, so we'll be continuing a flying lap as everyone ahead of us is on a flying lap. So we're not going to catch them, obviously. That is a 1:17, basically 5, followed by a 1... How are you that much worse? 23.4, 23.7, 30.9, 23.1, 23.6, 30.7. I really want to know where Zane was worse. Was it the first sector, 23.2? Because he's gone faster in it this time round. Tell you what, Mick's actually done a pretty darn good job there. He's faster than Albon. 23.5 middle sector. Yuki's done a stonker as well, ahead of the Mercedes. Oh, should say, as we're completing the second flying lap here, which will be our best lap, the 1.5 patch has literally released whilst I've been recording. So it fixes the AI development issues. It's got both engineer allocation and CFD wind tunnel hours as part of the patch, the CFD winter allowance was actually on the investigation list rather than the next patch list last time round when they did an update on all that stuff. So it's good to see they've got that in for the patch as well. Thank you, Gary. But so Maloney, did Maloney not improve? Yeah, 31.2. Maybe he ran out of battery. So mixed through essentially because no one's ever going to go faster now. So the AI development should be fine as soon as I patch it. So you don't need to do that workaround anymore. We'll get obviously the numbers on that, see if it is actually fixed. But that's kind of the main headline. There's other little fixes and tweaks. Oh, AI starting with powertrain faults, i.e. Ocon in Imola. That won't happen. And they've also reduced the impact of mentality a little bit. It was plus 10, now it'll be plus 7, or something 6 or 7, something like that. It seems to be the initial look through from people who have actually patched it and then clicked start, unlike me who already had the game open when the patch came live. But we'll stick with it. Oh, apparently also, as one of our cars will be out now, it'll also prevent the strategy from being changed when you change the driver's pace mode, which was just pace mode. I did work that one out accurately. That will no longer happen. People are coming back out again now. No idea why. They're not going to go faster. People at the very back might go faster, but I would have thought so. Well, it does dry out a little bit more towards the very end, but I don't think you'll ever get to optimum territory, so I don't think there's any point. I mean, I suppose there's very little risk just popping out for... I mean, there's no real risk popping out for one lap. I'll try and leave it as late as possible, just in case we get caught out and for whatever reason they can go faster at about 1.4. By the time those guys did their fast laps in the middle of that session, it was already above sort of 2. So I'm going to try and wait as long as possible. It was still about 1:14, 15. I'm going to let those guys go a little bit out of the way. There's a McLaren coming now as well for good measure. Just so we can let it dry out as much as possible. Coming out at the exact worst time, really. Oh, no, that's good. The Red Bull got through. I'm not 100% we'll actually get to the line, but we should be all right. Mind you, if the McLaren came out and thought it was fine, we should be fine. Because we've gone past it, obviously. Mind you, if I remember rightly, Canada was the track where AI had issues timing it right. Yeah, they've actually messed up. The McLaren's not going to get to the line in time. Because if I remember rightly, in previous games, Kevin Magnussen failed to get to the line and George Russell failed to get to the line here at Canada in our sessions. I'm pretty certain we won't go faster, but yeah. First sector's slower. In fact, Mick is secure once Ocon gets across the line. Unfortunately, Ocon kind of got to the checkpoint and taken the flag. Too late to call Mick in early, but are we wet again? 2.12. Right, get bankers in. It will dry up slightly at the end. Russell's had a stinker. A little bit annoyed Mick's behind Albon this time. So again, we'll leave it as late as possible because it looks like it's going to dry up a smidge at the very, very end here. We went about 1:45, if I remember rightly. I'll be honest, I think we're far enough behind that Red Bull, it won't make a difference. Brand new intermediate tyres on this one as well. We'll let that Merc go through on his flyer. Don't get in the way of him. Cold enough, short enough lap to push from the beginning, I would imagine. Truly on board with Mick Schumacher as he starts this lap. The sun now shining again. It's very intermittent, the rain here in Canada, apparently. But the track's down to 1.5 almost millimeters. So it's quite an improvement. And if I'm not mistaken, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 other cars are on track. And some of them might have actually finished their lap already. Yeah, Alonso moves to 5th. George Russell moves to 6th, even though he said he's finished his lap already. But he was the one on track already there. And McLaren and Tsunoda goes to 6th there. Hamilton's going and Perez is going, but they are already 4th and 5th. Mick has a very strong chance here, based on the Tsunoda time of 6th, and only half a second off Norris. Okay, he's a full second off Perez, but Mick has the Merc to get out of the way here. I don't know if he's got the... To be fair, even with this rain situation, I don't know if he's still got the ability to get past Piastri here, but he very much has the ability to get past Ricciardo. I have no idea why they've not come out. He sneaks 10th! Only just, considering the tyre differentials there. Only just. That's a blinder he's pulled out just at the last moment there, and it's not wet for Q3. I mean, is it worth it, really? Oh, it's going to rain immediately, actually. Forgot to actually click go. He's 100% going to be last. Oh, actually, valid point. Is he going to be last? When does that rain begin? The rain, in theory, starts at 16:51, which would be minute 3. On an unmanual automatic, we'll call that. On an automatic outlap, that's 2 minutes or so to get to the line. And some drivers are only just come out. I think it might start raining for a couple of people. It's only going to affect that rear Red Bull and possibly the Aston Martin at a first glance. But so flying lap's a minute and 10, so he should easily get round in time to hit kind of the 9-minute mark before it rains. Next on a 21.9 and a 22.2. No idea how that stacks up. Perez just starting his flying lap. Nope, sorry. Alonso and Perez still on the main straight, but they are now going at full speed. So could be a very distant tow for Mick. Hopeful, really. So the rain hasn't started yet. So 1:13.1 for Mick. Rain, in theory, starts now, at least before the minute is up. I'm really hoping it's only going to be a fraction of a millimetre, let's be honest. And already drivers are crossing the line and making our car look absolute, insert word here. Although Hamilton somehow has gone worse. And considering it's about to rain, Mick's going to line up 9th, which frankly is terrible when you factor in the confidence system. I thought Leclerc had gone worse there somehow. Tsunoda, yeah, Hamilton's had a shocker. No idea what he's done. And it hasn't even rained yet. Mick has gone faster, admittedly, on the second lap. And there's the rain at the very, 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 very last second. Enough to not actually improve in the end, even though he did go faster in the first 2 sectors. That also might just be battery related, because they use battery before they start the first lap, so they might not have battery at the end of the second lap. Well, that's that then. Leclerc pips Perez and Verstappen, in fact, third, because obviously no one's going faster now. Though Sainz is going round for some reason. Sure, Carlos. I suppose get your money's worth out of that Ferrari before you punt it out of it. How did we go faster than Hamilton? Genuinely fascinated to know what he did. 22.0, 22.2, 22.8. I'll compare it to his teammate. 21.7, 20... Russell 21.7, 21.8, 28.7. First and second sector are both off. So we got one driver at the back, one driver near the front for our purposes. Confidence.
70 laps of the Canadian Grand Prix await our drivers here in Montreal.
Named after the legendary Canadian driver, the circuit Gilles Villeneuve has been host to plenty of first-time winners. Jean Alesi, Lewis Hamilton, Robert Kubica and Daniel Ricciardo all got their maiden victories here.
With a flat-out section of over a kilometre in Sector 3, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve is a track that asks, who dares brake last? And that means it's tough on tyres and brake temperatures the whole way round. The time has almost come for our drivers to fight it out wheel to wheel. Race day has arrived.
Race day has indeed arrived, and it will be dry for the race. Interesting. 1 stop is viable, 2 stop is marginally faster. Not a huge amount in it. Weird that they've got 2 different medium hards. I think realistically, if you're going to do 2 stop, then you want your first stint to be aggressive. To go with that, maybe, which does make it faster. Similarly with Zane. Like, why are they making him go as long as possible? I might put him on a medium first and give him softs later on. Because if there is a safety car or red flag or whatever halfway through, then he can go on a hard instead. Bear in mind, he will be lapped, of course. I can do that. Incidents are likely. It is a short lap. 1.4 kilograms here. Minimum you can take out is 6 laps. Sure. That feels very small for a short lap, 6 laps. So, yeah, I'll take a maximum out then. Go conserve as soon as you've gone past the first lap and off we go.
Well, it's great to have you with us, folks, as we settle in for the weekend's Grand Prix action. And we certainly know what Max Verstappen is capable of.
Second row of the grid lining up third. That's a really strong chance of good points or even a podium here.
Here we go. It's time to go racing. This is it. We're moments away now at the Canadian Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
So Leclerc on pole, of course. Mick 9th. Got a good start. As did Piastri behind, who is also fighting Hamilton, which is giving Mick a reprieve here immediately. Squabbling between 2 faster cars behind. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's only minus 8 kilograms, all things considered. And you consider Monaco, you can go minus 12 kilograms. Minus 8 is nothing. Maloney, however, has not made the most of his start there. Are most people on a medium here? No, just most people around Mick are on a medium. Stroll's on a hard, just to be different. It's only Norris in the top 7 on a medium. But if Mick can hang on with faster cars like Yuki Tsunoda, for instance, we could be in a position here. We will expect Hamilton to get through, we will expect Piastri to get through, we will expect Ricciardo and Stroll to get through eventually. But the longer we can prevent that from happening, the better. Second lap, not really a huge amount changing on first lap. Hamilton got Piastri back at some point during that lap, and Hülkenberg and Bottas are fighting, which is splitting the train off behind Albon actually as well. So that'll help Zayn long term. But we've done this stint aggressive on Mick on purpose. In fact, Mick's taking Tsunoda. Mick? Are you right, Mick? There's a yellow flag. We'll see what that turns into. But Tsunoda had DRS. How's Mick done that? Oh, DRS is average. Maybe the RBs is terrible. But yellow flag has turned into... Oh, it was Zayn. It was Zayn. Zayn's done something. Oh, no, it's not Zayn that's done something. It's somebody at the front of this train that's done something that's held up the entire train and caused absolute carnage. It's Hülkenberg spinning, who was with Bottas,
Oh, dearie me, you
and holds up the entire... Yeah, that's what's happened. It holds up the entire situation. It's given Zayn the position on Magnussen, I think, there. Mayhem. Yeah, it's got Zayn on the inside of Magnussen there, who will then power towards, I would presume, a Hülkenberg with damaged tyres. He is on softs, though. Being squeezed into the wall is our Zayn. Look at that. Rude from Nico. Almost getting a second on Magnussen immediately, though, is fascinating. Of course, the train is well detached now. Ocon's benefited from that. Don't need to take his tyres off, but we'll obviously have to conserve fuel now. Mick does have a second to Tsunoda, but he does have DRS. Tsunoda made that back. So Mick's made a position. I'm actually going to bring down Mick's pace as long as he can stay within a second of Alonso. If it looks like he's going to fall out... What do you mean overtake failed? You didn't even try one. Like, I don't mind burning tyres. Obviously, that was the idea. But if I can preserve the tyres longer while staying in this DRS train, that will benefit his overall race time and race pace because I can push the other tyres later on. Oh, forgot to turn Zayn's off altogether. Mick is struggling. Yeah, I am going to have to go full 5 here because he's only just catching DRS after one lap of not pushing. The tyres maximum is obviously to do with this as well. I'll actually go balanced on Mick. Maloney's fine to conserve at this stage. Mick may not have DRS here, but he's pulled out a reasonable gap on Tsunoda. That it might not affect him on this straight. Might have a bit more issue next straight. Like, just keep Tsunoda behind. We should be alright. Still had a nosy there, did Yuki? Oh, Yuki really compromised his exit there. And unsurprisingly, a lap or two later, Yuki makes the move. But the good news is we should be really easily able to hold on to Yuki. Don't fight him back just yet, Mick. Don't fight him back. If we can extend the tyres behind Yuki, that'll be fine. The more time we can build on Albon at this stage of the race, the more likely we will finish ahead of him at the end. That's the target, beat Albon. Obviously, if there's retirements from this top 10, we'll take that. But don't overtake him, Mick, there. My concern that's going forward is Yuki takes Mick. Mick takes Yuki, and then next time round, I get taken by 2 vehicles.
Totally catch them up, okay?
I heard a noise. What's happened? Mick takes Yuki Tsunoda on that straight. Who crashed? It was definitely, like I say, it was definitely ahead of us because I heard the noise at the start. Like, we're focused on Mick and I can hear it from further ahead. Yeah, straight on. Good rejoining as well. Hamilton's having a go at Yuki Tsunoda now for whatever reason. Oh, because he didn't have DRS. See, that's what I was worried about. Actually, it took Mick the second straight to get Yuki there, but this is what I'm worried about with Mick now, is both of them coming through next lap. What is Mick doing here? This is ridiculous. Not fully lost Alonso and Russell. Why is Russell struggling? Alonso did a 1:19.3, presumably was detached from science, so Leclerc's obviously popped in behind because he went off. Why is Russell struggling? He doesn't have a gearbox. Okay, that'll obviously be fixed next time out. And mind you, it's not saying it's critical, so maybe gearbox for them is under 20%. Mick got a bit of confidence there from defending against a Yuki Tsunoda that it didn't really try to overtake. Defend, Mick, defend. It's interesting he's not actually in clean air. His tyres actually aren't burning on full 5 push. They're warm, but they're not burning. And going aggressive is actually keeping Yuki at bay on those mediums. In fact, he was 0.8 faster than Russell. Is there a chance?
Copy.
As long as we can defend from Yuki Tsunoda here.
Copy.
We can indeed get into George Russell's DRS. We'll obviously have to recover at some point, but Probably have to start doing that now, because if we can get past George, he'll hold up Yuki Tsunoda. I mean, that's 2 moves from George. Rude as hell. Up the inside. Absolutely mugs him off there. If we can get the better exit here, that would be great. And we do. That's George Russell taken for 7th! The heady heights of 7th. Yuki Tsunoda still proving problematic enough for Hamilton and Piastri behind. Oh, that's quite a vibration. I felt that. I know he's trying to overtake on someone here, and he's failing miserably every single time. I don't know why, but that's it. That's it, Mick. Just play the long game. Let yourself be overtaken in that DRS zone. Get the DRS here. We'll get double DRS. Oh, Piastri, as I say that, Piastri has got Tsunoda. In fact, Hamilton's gone backwards. For whatever reason, Hamilton's now behind Ricciardo. We get double DRS here. I say fuel recovery is not actually spectacular here. I am a little bit concerned. If you can make the move, Mick, here, that would be great. How? You're the one with the DRS. How is George going faster than you? Oh, definitely compromised George on the exit there, though. It's a good turn in. I mean, it's a terrible angle, really, for that overtake, isn't it? Yeah. How does George have the drive there? He doesn't have DRS or like a slipstream or anything. So George is a bit further back to attempt an overtake this time round. I say that. He's closed in again. Piastri, just keep him honest, will you? Thank you. In clean air, Mick has good tyre temperatures. But George has a little nosy. Oh, George has a little nosy, but gets taken by Piastri instead, behind. Meanwhile, is that DRS? That is the end of the DRS, isn't it? Good work. Good work, Zane. You're not even being pushed. You're even on conserve still, so... I'm sure he's got an issue as well. I don't know where that came from. Piastri nicks Mick. Yeah. So Piastri nicks George, and because Mick didn't have DRS, Piastri gets Mick as well. So Piastri had the DRS off George originally. Utilizes it against Mick instead. George nearly gets the look in. That's what I was concerned about with the RBs. Though Tsunoda's struggling now for whatever reason. As long as Mick can stay in the DRS for this one, then we might be all right. So we've got this train, and then it's 6 seconds and a bit to Albon, who's driving by himself at this stage. Gasly and Zhou Guanyu aren't attached. Why? So has Gasly got car problems? No. Zhou Guanyu does have car problems. He doesn't have a gearbox. Expect something similar from George here. Ah, Hamilton doesn't have a gearbox either. I did wonder about that. Just want to check the status of the Ricciardo and Tsunoda cars. They're fine. We might have had DRS briefly there, but we don't have it now, which is going to be a problem. So whilst George doesn't have a gearbox, I kind of want him to get overtaken. But that's not an answer, Mick.
Take care, you're approaching crash.
No, I'm not. It's at the back. Oh, no, that was being talked to Zane, wasn't it? So he was approaching a crash because it's these two again. It's Hulkenberg and Bottas going for a slide. Bottas' fault. Free position for Zane Maloney, though, who is now 10 seconds off everyone else. Ahead of him. He is ahead of that queue now. Oh, where's the detection point there? Because Mick may get DRS now. If he doesn't, that's problematic. As Tsunoda also has a go. Please tell... Hulkenberg got the penalty there. He did get the DRS. Right, begin to conserve now, Mick. Extend this as long as you can. Because Zane's at the front of this queue, he is struggling now a little bit. Yeah.
Guys.
I think Ocon got him there and pulled away. We might get him back slowly here. Tsunoda left Russell behind. As Mick gets George back again. Into turn 1. It is curious that Tsunoda's dropped Russell, yet Mick couldn't. Does show you the difference between the RB and R car, really. Yeah, so we'll do this as late as possible with Mick. My concern is, of course, traffic. It's a risky strategy here with Mick, but why is he fighting Ricciardo? What's your percentage right now? 43. We'll go next lap. We can extend by a lap here. Magnussen has a fault, which will help Maloney ultimately, who did get Ocon back, but is now once again at the front of that train. They have closed a little bit on Albon. It was 10 seconds, now it's 9. Actually, where is the pit exit? 19th, according to... Oh, Mick's gone past. It is this lap. So Mick will come out 19th according to the predictions there. Maloney once again with a bit of a DRS slingshot. I think has closed a little bit on Albon. We'll pay attention to Mick. Actually, honestly, I might go next lap. He's still in this DRS train. Yeah, Ricciardo got through Russell as well and has dropped him. Mick's now in a DRS sandwich of vehicles that are struggling with gearboxes. He's still got another lap's worth in this tyre, so I might as well go for it. You'll get DRS back off George here. Bottas now has a fault. All the faults are happening in the back at the moment, which is annoying. So you'll get DRS off George, but dive into the pits. Right to the end, of course, for Season 1. Albon goes through, because of course he does. That's quick. They predicted 19th. Where is he going to come out in regards to this train? Ahead, ahead, ahead. Lovely. Click don't fight. Just in case he closes up on him here. which he does. All right, let Mick get up to speed, Zane. Let him drag you round. In fact, this could be perfect for Zane Maloney. So let Mick get up to speed. We've gone a couple of laps later, so we've got a little bit more wiggle room in those tyres. Mick will be fast. You're on 66% mediums. In fact, whilst you're this close getting DRS, you might be able to top up off Mick. Drag you away from Ocon, ultimately. That's worked out perfectly as well. Mick was predicted 19th. We had a good stop. I didn't check the time on it. But that did just, I think that did just drag Zane out of range of Ocon. No, he did still get DRS there. So Noda's now in the pits. He's coming just shortly after Mick. Undercut, not powerful enough for Yuki, who managed to build a bit of a gap after getting past Russell. Still, 5 seconds now. You can stop topping up now, Zane, because you are struggling to keep up for whatever reason. Oh, just snaps that DRS back again. Come on, Zane. Ricardo now in the pits. It's weird they didn't push their softs that hard and then pitted. Go on, Zane. Close back in, mate. I know Mick's on brand new tyres, but you should be able to stay in DRS range. I don't know what you're doing. Ocon does not have DRS for the first time, as Yuki Tsunoda does the fastest lap. Has he gone soft-soft? He has gone soft-soft. No, he's got... No. Was Yuki on a medium originally? Has he come off a medium that early? No, Daniel was on the medium. They were both on mediums. Why have they come off a medium that early? They didn't blitz them, as far as I'm aware. That is odd strategy. Trying to keep an eye on Ocon behind to see if he's in DRS range. I don't think he is. Because the timings during that sector are all over the place. Has Bottas pitted? No. He's just got an issue. And of course, yeah, they hit Hulkenberg, didn't they? And then Hulkenberg got the penalty for whatever reason. Ocon's pushing and got back in DRS range, annoyingly. All right, so we are well behind Ricciardo now. Hamilton still going around. George Russell pitted and ended up behind Maloney, in fact. So that was not great from... There's George. But he started on... Did they start on the mediums, George? No. He started on a soft and went long. Now he's on a medium. Hamilton started on a medium. And is doing an actual medium stint by the looks of things. Zhou Guanyu is probably going to retire from this race, but that's irrelevant for us because we're ahead of them anyway. Yeah, you're still going for a little bit longer here, Zane. You keep going around, mate. Into a bit of a holding pattern now, although I say that because George is obviously in the mix here. I would tell Zane to always defend against George here, but that just makes Zane's race impossible. I wish there was a way to tell people to defend without actually compromising their overall lap time, because it just makes them drive slower. I don't want them to drive slower. I just want them to actively, aggressively defend. Like everywhere else, I want them to drive normally, but just in these attacking corners, I want them to aggressively defend. I'm actually concerned about fuel. I don't think we're actually going to get it back annoyingly here. I imagine we'll get lapped somewhere down the line. Shortly, in fact. I worried about that. It took a few more laps, though. Lap 32, George finally gets past Zane. Unfortunately, he still has DRS on Mick here. I mean, George still doesn't have a gearbox, so we'll bear that one in mind. And in the process, that does take Zane out of DRS range of Mick as well. I think Albon might one-stop here. No, he's gone on medium. We'll go next lap and we'll just completely destroy these tyres for 2 laps. What did Albon start? Has he got medium? No, Albon just went really long on a soft and actually pit 7 laps ago. So he's actually not doing too bad there. Magnussen might be a one-stop, and I would presume Lance Stroll having started on a hard would be a one-stop. But Hamilton having gone long on the medium, now has gone on a hard, is going to the end. Has come out directly ahead of Mick. Thank you for the tow, Lewis. Lewis also doesn't have a gearbox, so that's going to be fascinating. Obviously, Lance Stroll hasn't pitted. He's going to one-stop, so bear in mind he is 17 seconds ahead, something like that. He will end up behind as things stand. Maloney comes out 9 seconds behind Albon. Oh, with Sargent, that's annoying. But only 6 seconds behind Albon because he's been lapped? What's going on with Albon? Why is he so slow this lap? Yeah, because he was lapped by 2 vehicles, I think. He was lapped in a bad place. I can see 2 vehicles ahead of him, Norris and Sainz. Maloney gets Sargent back, we'll watch it, because of course he does. I think Sargent's on a medium, so this should be easy pickings for Zane on a aggressive soft strategy at this stage. Oh my goodness. Yep, sure. So Mick, confidence-wise, has lost it somehow. Zane's confidence is still strong though, that's good. We're not gonna get fuel. We will just get fuel because I think we'll get lapped. That'll be the saving grace, is the lapping. Stroll pitted? Yeah, Stroll pitted onto mediums has come through again, so we now have a 13-second lead to Albon, which we have to maintain for the rest of this race with Mick. And we're not going to because Albon's closing. Zhou is out. Can someone cause an accident, please? Oh, Perez. Perez has got a problem. We are well clear of our range right now. Let's get a few aggressive laps in, Mick. Particularly if you could stay ahead of that pair that are about to lap you now. That'll be superb. I shouldn't have told him not to save fuel at any point. I did think it was weird they only allowed us to take 6 laps out. Oh, what? Unfortunately, the lapping vehicles actually got DRS off Mick. But he gets lapped in a much more opportune moment, at least. So we just burn these tyres as best we can. Ignore the pips for now for Mick. But Zane and Albon is a thing that's happening. I'm going to presume this is a result of vehicles being lapped. Because I can see a Red Bull ahead. Is it a Red Bull? It can't be Red Bull. That's a McLaren behind. So how has... Oh, I know what's happened. Albon got lapped by Verstappen, who just went in the pits at the start of that straight. I imagine at the hairpin, Verstappen caught Albon, forced Albon to have a very slow final sector as a result of that, and then went straight in the pits. So thank you, Max. That's what's happened there, I'm pretty certain. We are 1 lap down with Mick now, so that's fine. We only need to get to minus 0.4, well, 1.4, but where is Sainz in regards to Mick? He's literally just gone through him. Another 25 laps. He's got to pit again. Russell's now broke. Oh, Russell's gearbox is finally doing something that's worthwhile. I mean, he's beaten his target. Go for it. I would say now's a good moment to get Mick in, having extended the medium a little bit. Deploy away from what I think is a McLaren behind you there, Mick, just so you don't get lapped this lap here and do what happened to Albon. I think that's where Albon got lapped and therefore compromised his entire straight. Are we about to lap Gasly there? 2.8, not superb. Russell's mechanical fault will take him out of the race. Attack the outlap here, Mick. You have 10 seconds to catch Albon, who won't pit again and is on 54% mediums. And is fighting Zane, so this could help you very much. So Russell's out. I was going to say Perez's fault has fixed itself, but it's behind the fastest lap somehow. Albon, oh, no, wait, Albon's pitted again. Why is Albon pitted again? I presumed he was going to the end of the race. Oh, because he did soft medium, didn't he? He might be able to get those mediums to the end, but he obviously wasn't trying to. The good news is Mick's come out behind essentially a bunch of people who have already lapped him. In fact, that might be Perez. Yeah, that's the last of this first batch of vehicles who are still running quite close together. So Zane's there, Mick's behind him on track now, 6 seconds behind, and he is obviously instructed not to fight him, but at the same time, I don't think Mick will catch Zane before Zane pits. We'll ignore that for the time being because we'll go another lap with Zane at least, and then pit. I can't believe there's no incidents. I was really banking on an incident there. Mick's got a problem. So Zane pits and comes out with Albon again. They'll be fighting, and that's going to keep Albon behind, ultimately, provided Mick doesn't run out of fuel. I'm trying to see if anything reduces our fuel output. Why the leader's not fast enough to lap us twice here? It's going to be tight. There's 8 laps to go. Albon dropped Maloney, by the way. There's been nothing to pay attention to there. In fact, obviously, Zane's lapped, so he doesn't need to recover fuel anymore. Oh, Mick's actually going to do it. Mick's going to do it. It's going to be an historic 12th place. I say an historic is what he got last time, but it will be the first time we were genuinely best of the rest. I presume Mick is still lapped, right? Yeah, Hamilton is lapped and he's 40 seconds ahead. We'll be fine. Perez's fault could... Actually, if Perez blows up in these last 4 laps, that's an 11th again. In fact, no, 11th would be the best result because we forfeited 11th last time round by mistake, didn't we? Come on, Perez! What is your problem? Oh, it's ERS that won't retire him. As we saw previously, ERS blowing up doesn't actually retire the vehicle. But it'll be another 12th for count back, I guess. Tell you what, we put a blinder here for a vehicle that was predicted 19th and 20th here. I can't believe we've got away with that fuel. I think, obviously, towards the end, you recover fuel better. If anything, actually, Zane can push the darn fuel at this stage. And he's a lap down. Go for it, mate. See if you can close the gap to Albon. Not enough. Not enough is the answer. I feel like the RBs have improved because they seem to be in the fight with Aston Martin. And, oh, mind you, the Mercs didn't have gearboxes this race, did they? So there's certainly one more lap. Mick is 11 seconds, 40 seconds ahead. I'm not pushing anything on Mick. There's no point. Maloney has somehow lost time because he got lapped by Yuki Tsunoda. Right, okay. Albon himself is about to be lapped, but if I was Oscar Piastri right now, I'd be very annoyed I just got overtaken by Perez, who doesn't have ERS. Admittedly, he'll get him back. But Leclerc, approaching, actually close to lapping Zane twice, they're not too far ahead, will be our 4th winner of the season. Verstappen has won 6, Sainz 1, Norris 1. Leclerc about to only be the 4th different winner. It has annoyingly been a bit far too... I don't know why Gasly's been so slow. His car seemed fine. But Leclerc comes across. It's nice to have another different person on the top step. Sainz fighting Norris for the podium, right to the line, but doesn't quite make it. Norris pips him to 3rd, and Perez, with no ERS, somehow stays on Piastri's tail. Big gap to the next batch. Hamilton, the last person to be lapped. Mick 40 seconds behind, still yet to finish. We do finish 12 seconds ahead of Albon. Mick Schumacher, savour this. For the first time this season, I think we do beat Albon. And credit to Maloney, who stayed on Tsunoda's tail after he lapped him, to finish only 3 seconds behind Albon himself. Maloney, our worst driver, finishes only 3 seconds behind a driver that we consistently finished about 12 seconds behind for the rest of this season with Mick. So, progress. We might be a lap down on the RB, but progress. But nice to see Charles on top. Nice to see a little bit of variety. Three different teams on the podium as well is quite nice, because of course in F123 it was typically just the Red Bull drivers all the time. Sorry, we just got the some things went our way but others didn't line from Karun there. I don't think anything went against us in that race, other than the terrifying fuel situation. But I've recovered. Piastri got up to 5th in the end. Of course, I forgot he started outside the points. Mick does lose 3 places, predictably, and still ended 40 seconds up. I genuinely almost forgot Mick started 9th there, and then still ended up 40 seconds behind Hamilton, who was 9 seconds, so 50... We were about 50-55 seconds behind the position we started in. That's depressing. The power gaps are still too much. Still, more points for Yuki gets him ahead of Daniel. A 14th place finish takes him back ahead of Logan Sargent and Esteban Ocon. Lovely. Pity Perez didn't blow up, otherwise we could have got 11th and 13th there. Nothing for the constructors, other than more RB points. We somehow don't feature on this, despite the fact the slowest one was 2.6. Our best one was 2.6666. Oh, okay. Still, the full money, which will actually go towards a facility upgrade if we're smart here. What has failed? A chassis has failed. And we are building the new one. So that's going to be problematic. In terms of strategy, we expected to finish in 20th, and our best finish was 12th. So we were above target. The best strategy for the race was a one-stop. I mean, Hamilton did that, and we're only 9 seconds behind him. He didn't have a gearbox. But the RBs 2 stopped, and Lance Stroll 1 stopped, and they were together at the end of the race. So I don't think it was a one-stop. Also, why is Canada regarded as low speed? It has one of the longest straights in the... mixed at worst, surely. But anyway, we are now we've got a scout back because they're not being sponsored out. We are now scouting through all the unattached F2 drivers to see who we can pick up at the end of the year. We did Paul Aaron, and we've also done Dennis Hauger already. So Stanek is another one who doesn't have an affiliation just yet. We're not going to bother signing them towards the end of the year because money. But ATR period ends after Spain, so nothing to do there. We get an underfloor in. We get a front wing 3 in. Do we have all 3 front? So we will have the front wings in, and we will have enough underfloors to give to, but we won't have. We might have to give the chassis to Mick anyway, because there's no real downside. Because we've only got 2 of the old spec, so if either driver damaged the old spec one, then they have to emergency manufacture a new one anyway. I suppose we could run the old spec in practice, and then they have the opportunity to give Mick the new one before the actual race. But I suppose I better put it on so he can actually learn it and acclimatise to it. So I might be giving Mick 3 new car parts, and Zane just the front wing, of course. So I will see you for Spain, where upgrades will happen then. And then it's 3 weekends in a row. Not that it matters for this, of course, timeline-wise. You get them at the same rate. But a new ATR period shortly. Money tight. As much as I want to improve facilities, helipads next on the line. These hospitality ones are getting close to being refurbished requirements. It's only 360k to do the helipad, and I'm even hesitant to do that. Oh, it's only 100k for the tour centre. But we'll wait till they get close to needing to be refurbished and then upgrade them then. Is kind of the idea here. Weather Centre's the one obviously I want to do, but that's 1.5. 880 for the memorabilia, which improves mentality as well. So we'll see you next time. Mick is actually happy. And he better well be, because that performance is pretty solid. We'll see you next time for Spain. Until then, thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this, like, comment, subscribe. You know the deal by now. Until then, ta-ra.